Morning. Oh, how are you doing today? I need to pick up. I need a I don't have camera here. I don't have camera. Camera or chill. Okay. Okay, good morning, Mr. Emmanuel. Please confirm that you can hear us. Okay. Emmanuel Akov, please confirm that you can hear us. Good morning. Hello. Good morning, Emmanuel Akov. Hello. I don't know if you can hear us from here. Mr. Emmanuel, please confirm you can hear us, please. Okay, thank you, Mr. Ebele. Mr. Emmanuel, okay, while we wait for the others to join. Mr. Emmanuel, I don't know if.
Where are you likely to hear from them?
Good morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Everyone is online.
So far, we just have one person. We just have one participant online.
Online.
Yes. I think his network is.
It's the person. I think you know that. Is that right? Where are you likely to hear about from them? I don't know. You might have to. I don't know. Oh, grazie. Also me. Absolutely. All right.
The camera.
Huh?
I mean, let's just run for now. I'll sort of it that, but the most important thing is that they are able to hear the room.
No, the chair is not.
The chair is not here.
Yes. No.
But you have some presenters.
Yes.
Then you just maybe somebody can volunteer to chair or you chair.
Yes.
Once it's time, at least you can still leave a couple of minutes
Yes.
for But everything is moving fine.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
Thank you so much.
The chair is not maybe. You said, okay, you have sent my email. See how. See how. W N F T. Let me check for you. I'm sorry. This is interesting. It's a little bit here, so you just crank it to double check for them. So send it to us. So far we have the line for it. Morning. It wasn't. Good morning.
Yes.
Good morning. Okay, this one.
Let's just participate and learn.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. So today, we are going to be looking at new light on Nigerian politics. That's the name of our session this morning. And the chair is Azan Ayoni Logu. I don't know if I get that correctly. But currently the chair is not online, hasn't joined. Then we have presenting Theatre of Shame, a dramaturgical analysis of political and religious deceits by David Akonu, University of Ibadan. Then we also have barriers to electoral inclusion, the nexus between poverty and participation among internally displaced persons in Benue and Borno states by Emmanuel Akpo. He was here earlier, but I guess his network. Then youth participation in Nigerian politics, challenges and opportunities, 1999 to 2023 by Azan Ayoni Logun. We also have African political dynamics, continuities, discontinuities, and the evolving landscape of power by Chibuzo Nwagu. And finally, we have reevaluating one Nigeria perspectives from France by Chiemeka Nelly Sicily Nwokocha from Madonna University, Nigeria. So think we have to wait for like 2 minutes. This is I am here to resource. I need to resource. Can you resend? Can you resend? Are you sure it's going to be there? Okay. Oh, fine. Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so we have Chiemeka Nelly Sicily Nwokocha from Madonna University, if I'm correct.
Yes.
All right, you're welcome. And okay, so I have done a brief introduction of the panelists. So right now we're going to have David Akol from the University of Ibadan to make a presentation on his paper. So while I share his slides. Just a minute.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so David and Cole, can we have it? Yeah, of course. You can anyway. You can stay. You can even stay here if you want.
Yeah.
Um. Please, can you confirm if you can see the screen from there? I'm sharing the slides already. Chemeka. I don't know if she's streamed off. Chemeka. Oh. No, she's muted. All right, so you can go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. My name is David Akon from the University of Ibadan, and I'm presenting a paper titled The Theater of Shame, a dramaturgical analysis of political and religious deceits in Nigeria. So, first thing first, I would like to break it down memory lane. When I was in university, I was the bridge between politics and religion. As a church boy from home, and someone that is very, very interested in politics, I tend to move or tilt towards religion. But over time, I realized that okay, politics is something that you should engage yourself in because of student politics. Then I was able to see things from a different perspective. As a church boy, you see that you have this orientation of move closer to God. If anything you want to do is based on God. Then in politics, everything you want to do is based on connection and the rest of it. But beyond what we see physically, beyond the pastors, the youth pastors, and beyond the political leaders supposed to be, there is a different idea of them. And that's why I'm using Evan Goffman's theory of dramaturgy. He talked about front stage and backstage, and that is very applicable to everybody's life. Coming here this morning, I'm all dressed, shirts, trousers, and the rest of it. But when you see me in my house, I have something different on. Let's say I'm joining this session via the Zoom meeting. I have something different. Let's say the boxers and the shirts. That is a backstage of my daily life. But here is a different stage. That's what every government is trying to say. I'm just using this as an analogy to know that coming here is a different form of your life and staying back home is a different form of your life. Now, Nigeria is a creative country. We all know that everything in Nigeria is based on theater. I'm saying theater because it's majorly presentation, majorly literary performances, starting from our regional leaders. Something happened, I think last year, when Wike went to a western part of Nigeria. Then the Oba they said, there's a woman that was supposed to give birth, but she had not given birth, or she had not given birth for the past 2 years or something. But when she heard that Wike is coming to their state, she started screaming, God of Wike, or God of Wike, and then she gave birth. Now, I believe that is, Wike is a politician, right? He's not a religious leader. Then that is just a way of presenting himself as a loyalist to Wike, right? So that is what we are trying to talk about here. Now, understanding the stage, dramaturgy, and ideology. I think government's theory of social interaction as performance helps in understanding how people, especially those in power, manage oppression. Let's not forget that people coming on live TV are just to maneuver your thoughts. During campaigns, you see them going to trenches. You see them going anywhere. You see them performing rites of passages just to present themselves as a part of this community. We call it solidarity. And that is a theater on its own. That is the political part of it. And in this paper, I'm engaging two of Body Thinkers books. I'm engaging the trial of Brother Jero for the religion part, and I'm engaging a play of giants for the political part. Now, trial of Brother Jero is talking about a brother, a sane brother that modified faith, just a little personal doing. From the introduction of the book, he talked about how he maneuver people and sees this as a profession, as a job, just like me being a banker and someone else being a lecturer. He sees being a priest, a prophet, as business, more of a business than an actual calling. Now, when people come to him, it puts them under the impression that, okay, religion is the key. It puts them under the impression that without religion, there's nothing we can actually achieve. And to the extent that his victim, one of his favorite victims that he met on tagging a slave, he is about to beat his wife. I believe that if he should have the guts to beat his wife, he would never succumb to him again. But seeing that God has a bigger plan for him, and you must not beat your wife because your wife, he calls the wife a trial for him, a trial of faith. Now, that is the same thing that most of politicians are doing for us. And let us not forget, Bertrand Russell or Emmanuel said that religion is the opium of the masses. Without religion, we all believe that we are free. Without religion, we all believe that there's nothing there's no restriction for anything we are doing. But with religion, we tell you, okay, there's a greater glory somewhere. So you now realize that, okay, if I should kill my fellow human being for ritual, then I've lost that place of glory. I've subjected myself to the idea of religion there, right? So that is where religion is coming. And this thing is being used. It's being maneuvered mostly in Africa, especially in Nigeria as a country. And then we have a supporting theory, the Frankfurt School of Thought. And that one says, that was talking about the contribution of the masses, to this act of leaders. A political leader will rise up today, and there's a lot of I saw a video of a pastor in Benin State allegedly trying to turn water to wine. Now, at the end of the day, you realize that, okay, this is a theater option because it didn't work out. And then you've seen a lot of stages. I used a lot of videos, online training videos, and stories on this act. Now, some of them are trying to wake up the dead. Now, they are commodified. That is what we call commodification of faith. I have it in the paper there. They are saying, if I can wake up the dead, then I can tell you that this is the person you are voting for next year. Have you ever imagined that a pastor, a prophet, would predict life score? A prophet that is ordained would predict that PSG will win over a particular team in the final race. Now, this is what we call commodification of faith. Let's assume that is a Ponzi scheme, to be precise. Let's assume that score enters as the normal slang. Let's assume it enters. Then we start revering the prophet, right? And anything the prophet says, we begin running under the prophet. So Trevor of Brazil actually exposed the first stage of prophets, the first stage of religion leaders, the first stage of religion leaders, how they present themselves as the Messiah. They're always telling us that this is what God says. And we as masses, that Frankfurt is saying that we're giving them the power to maneuver our thoughts. We don't order them. And whatever it is that they say, we align with it. Now, all these performances have consequences. That is where this school of thought is coming from. They have consequences. Let's assume that a religion leaders, a forerunner religion leaders in Nigeria says that, okay, let's have a protest against the government. And everybody will believe that that's what God has said. Is that not bringing calamities upon the economy? That is. And there is this thin line between politics and religion. That is why political leaders are always hiding under the shield of religious leaders. And religious leaders are always hiding under the shield of God says. Now, I put this, what is Inca's double mirror? Acts as exposed. Oh, sorry. Let's okay, because I've talked about consequences of the trust. Yeah, before I leave consequences of this shit. During the COVID era, we have to said something that actually changed the whole narrative of COVID-19. That it was even, I think, was invited by the US government still about COVID. Then there's this man. Sorry, can we go back to? Yes. Okay. No. Consequences of. Okay, consequences of Boyaki, and then there's this. Sorry, the name Indabuski. It is popular as Indabuski. They said something that when it was not in Nigeria, that the economy was in shambles because was not in Nigeria. And his followers took it over as, okay, it's because our own supreme leader was not in Nigeria. Meaning that he was able to influence the thought process of people under him. That the economy became like that because it was not in Nigeria. That's just like a mindful approach to tilting. I think it says, if I should leave Nigeria now, or let's say if the government are giving me problem in Nigeria, then my people will rise against the government. Believe me, the people rise against the government. And this is not because God says, it's because he has had impact on the lives of his members. And that is what this theater of shame is all about. Then we have Wale Soyinka's double mirror acts as exposure. What makes sure Wale Soyinka's enjoying is the ability to replicate both performer and audience. Now, the performers, talking about the major leaders and the political leaders, they are not alone in this act. We give them the power. If we do not give them the power, there is no way they would maneuver our thoughts. And that is what I suggest through Saka. The public is not merely food. They often participate, laughing, believing, donating, and voting. I remember that there's this popular thing in my home church thing. Your first salary, your first fruit here, your first fruit you donate to the church. Now I asked myself for several years I didn't have any job. I was living on loan. Okay, I have this job in admin, but I have this job in admin because this and that. I was living on loan, borrowed money. Now the first fruit, if I'm donating to the church, how am I going to pay back all these loans? God will help me. So that's the God. We believe that God as the supreme being would help me. Right, this money is not going to God because that is a different ideology entirely. But we are not going to that. And in trials of Brother Jerry was, I prophesied I would be respected. And here I am, Prophet Jerry, respected by all who pass this bridge. The same thing is applicable to religious leaders. Think of it, I don't want to mention it. Think of the religious leaders. If they step their foot in, I believe that if a very big religious leader in Nigeria come here now, this seat will be bad. In fact, we can put it in a museum. But this is the seat that this also pastor sat when he came for LSE conference. That is the way religion has actually brainwashed Africa. And whatever happens, let's say there's maybe a scientific something like you and there's wheat growing on a chair. It says that the impact of that leader, the power, the supreme power of that leader is what is coming in. Now, this has captured the power of performance to shape public consciousness. It says, if I prophesy, people are on this beach will respect me. That is what influencing on what shaping their consciousness. I say this, then people believe like this. I tell my subordinates that if you beat your wife, then God will not make you that thing that I have said. And I said, okay, it's normal as a student, it's normal to graduate, right? But I pastor comes to that, okay, but in the next 3 years, you're already in 200 level. Technically, you don't have any problem. In the next 3 years, you graduate. But because of the communication, that give us that supreme, the supreme trouble to do what? To elevate to the next line. Then, conclusively, in Nigeria's political and legal sphere, performance has become a currency of control. Leaders must not elaborate facets to mass competence visit. Then I had some two analogy. These Frankfurts and the government's journalists, they are not just they will exploit in the contemporary world, but will not just them. Africa is like the all this somewhere. Now, we have what's called this Play of Giants, talking about the political leaders in Africa, like the Nigerian, talking about their impact on if they are not there. This means, and they are presenting themselves as messiahs. They are presenting themselves as messiahs. Believe that this thing, and that just say they are looting our money. They are taking away all our trade. They are exchanging our freedom for their own extravagance. the world leaders are using them as a platform to subdue Africans, especially Nigerians. They're using their ignorance, their own greediness to subdue Nigerians, to turn us to something of little or no value. So I have some slide after then showing some fun last part. Okay, skeptics must become critics. If you are going to breach this line, if you are going to breach this gap, let's stop being spectators. Let's stop applauding religion and political leaders. Let's analyze what they are saying. Let's be critical about their ideas, what they are bringing to us. Before they give you something, you look at it independently, without the structure that they have. Right? Let's go to last slides. So as we look at these generated pictures, this is a laboratory at the back of UN building, and that's the representation of Borishenka's Day of Giants, where the religious and the political leaders were placed in a laboratory. African political leaders, like people that we see as giants, they are put in a toilet, and that always has as a platform. But because they said that okay, they are world people, they have to do what they have to do. People that we are actually giving our trust to. Then we have all these chariots of politics, political talks, then church, mosques, and the rest of this religion. Then we remember better the one of our humanitarian minister that was sacked 2024, 2023 for the embezzlement of funds, humanitarian minister. Then the story of a snake swallowing money, 30 million naira. Then monkey cutting away our funds. These are let me close with this. The idea of this presentation to us is not to convince us as Nigerians. It is just to cast away the significance, the perception of we are taking away the perception of them from interviewers, analyze what you use the money for to mess. When they say that monkey swallow money, we are not taking it as a big deal. We started laughing about it. Instead of asking them to give us analysis of what the money was spent, we started doing skits of these people, like of things like this. So that is what this paper is all about. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much for that amazing presentation, Mr. David Akolo. So we are going to call upon Chiemeka Nelly to speak to our paper. Chiemeka Nelly, can you kindly unmute and begin your presentation?
Okay.
All right, thank you.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Permit me to stand on the existing protocols. As you know, I'm Chiemeka Nelly Culture from Madonna University. My topic is reevaluating one Nigeria and exploring the viability of political autonomy.
Sorry, please, can you help us with your camera? Can you switch it on your camera? Yes.
Camera.
Yes. Kindly switch it on. Can you just switch on your camera? Your camera. So we'll see why. Sorry?
Is this on now?
No, it's not on yet. Please, we are waiting on you, please.
There's no camera showing here.
No, on your Zoom, you can just switch it on. Fine. Beside where the audio is, where you mute. Unmute yourself, then switch on the camera. You see video, yes. Please. Don't just the video, not the audio. The icon beside the microphone video, just switch it on. Okay, you know what? Can you proceed with your presentation? Can you
Hello.
proceed? Can you proceed, please?
Okay. So as I said, my topic is reevaluating one Nigeria and exploring the viability of geopolitical autonomy using France history as case study. Despite Nigeria's commitment to unity, entrenched ethnicity, religious and regional divisions hinder national progress. This study challenges the conventional wisdom of a centralized federal system, exploring geopolitical autonomy as a viable alternative, using France's history and regional autonomy model as a comparative framework. This study examines the potential benefits of devolved power for Nigeria's six geopolitical zones. Introduction. The One Nigerian project conceived in the early 20th century aimed to unite diverse ethnic groups under a single national identity, courtesy of the amalgamation, as we all know. However, over 6 decades after independence, Nigeria's unity remains a subject of debate. Nigeria's unity has been challenged by various historical and contemporary factors like ethnic and regional tensions, religious intolerance, colonial legacy, resource control and distribution, governance and leadership, self-determination and secessionist movements, power sharing and representation. To address these challenges, Nigeria needs leaders who can transcend historical grievances and work towards the interests of all Nigerians through avenues like promoting inclusive governance, addressing resource distribution, fostering national dialogue, strengthening institutions. France, that we are going to use as a model, on the other hand, has faced a similar case from its origin as Gaul. Originally, it started as a country named Gaul in the ancient times, and their language then was Celtic, and their tribe then was Celtic too. And they were a kind of warriors, and they were fighting always with their neighbors, conquering other tribes around them and enlarging their territories. And then until she was conquered by the Roman Empire, still in the ancient times. She later got her independence Gaul got her independence from the Roman Empire and then was later conquered by the Franks. So Gaul, together with the tribes she conquered, then merged with the Franks to form the country we know today as France. So France has managed her own diverse regions and promoted national unity through several strategies such as administrative reorganization, regional planning and development, territorial equality, decentralization, inclusive governance, education and cultural programs, intergroup dialogue and reconciliation, increased regional control, addressing local needs, reducing conflicts, and by promoting diversity. So because of her progress in the same situation that Nigeria is facing now, that's why we are using France as a model. Ultimately, the success of geopolitical autonomy in addressing Nigeria's unity challenges would depend on careful planning, implementation, and ongoing dialogue between different stakeholders. This study proposes to reevaluate one Nigerian concept and explore the viability of geopolitical autonomy drawing lessons from France's history, as you have seen. The research questions we use are: what are the historical and contemporary challenges to Nigeria's unity? How has France, a country with a complex history of regional identities, managed its diverse regions and promoted national unity? Can geopolitical autonomy provide a viable solution to Nigeria's unity challenges? And what lessons can be learned from France's experience? You have objectives like to critically examine the One Nigeria project and its implications for national unity, to analyze France's approach to managing regional diversity and promoting national unity, to explore the potential benefits and challenges of political autonomy in Nigeria. The significance of this study. This study will employ a comprehensive historical analysis examining France's history of managing regional diversities and promoting national unity. It will also draw on existing literature on Nigeria's unity challenges and the potential benefits of geopolitical autonomy. By exploring the viability of political autonomy in Nigeria, this research hopes to shed light on new possibilities for promoting and achieving a peaceful nation disintegration, achieving a peaceful nation now disintegration for sustainable development in Nigeria and her geopolitical regions. Literature review, we visited other works, for example, Kazetindo and Salutations Ndobenga's work titled Is Nigeria Ripe for Breakup? They examine the challenges to Nigeria's territorial integrity and the role of external factors the mitigating importance of Cameroon and France in the survival of Nigeria's territorial integrity. We also visited Sunday Omotui's work, which analyzes the complex relationship between Nigeria and France in the context of regional security. The work is titled Franco-Nigerian Detente, Nigeria, France, and Francophone states of the Lake Chad region in the area of Boko Haram terrorism. Then there is Dikachi N. Eze Michael, who compares the local government structures and autonomy in Nigeria and France in his work titled A Critical Examination of Local Government Administration in Contemporary Nigeria and France. Our analysis and results. The first analysis, comparative analysis between France and Nigeria's approaches to managing regional diversity and promoting national unity. Similarities between the two. Both countries have diverse population with various ethnic, linguistic, and cultural groups. Both countries have historically had strong centralized governments that have played a significant role in shaping national identity and unity. Both countries have faced challenges to national unity, including regional tensions, separatist movements, and cultural differences. And there are also differences. Nigeria's colonial history is distinct from France because with Nigeria being a British colony, France is a colonial power itself. France has a more decentralized system of governance with greater autonomy given to regions and local authorities, whereas Nigeria's system is more centralized. National identity. France has a strong tradition of republican values and a secular identity, whereas Nigeria's national identity is more complex and influenced by its diverse cultural and religious heritage. Approach to regional diversity. France has historically emphasized assimilation and integration, whereas Nigeria has adopted a more federal approach, recognizing and accommodating regional differences. The interview that revealed diverse perspectives on the viability of the political autonomy in Nigeria. Based on regional autonomy, many interviewees believe that granting more autonomy to regions could help address local needs and promote development. Some interviewers, based on national unity, expressed concern that political autonomy could lead to fragmentation and weaken national unity. On economic viability, some interviewees argued that certain regions may struggle to sustain themselves without federal support. That's true. Historical context of Nigeria's creation and legacy colonialism were seen as important factors in determining the current challenges in national unity. Then, based on the questionnaire, we have support for geopolitical autonomy. 60% of the respondents supported the idea of geopolitical autonomy, citing the potential benefits of more localized decision-making and resource control, whereas 40% expressed concern that geopolitical autonomy could lead to national disintegration or conflict, which is also possible. Then for regional,
please, excuse me, please, you have 3 minutes to round up.
all right. So based on regional economic development respondents, 80.
Hello, Chiamaka, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, you can continue, you can proceed.
Okay.
All right. So you have 2
80%
minutes.
believe that studying France's experience with decentralization and regional government would help valuable insights for Nigeria. So from the above, there is significant support for exploring geopolitical autonomy as a means of addressing regional disparities and promoting developments in Nigeria. And based on recommendation, Nigeria should also consider empowering local governments to take ownership of regional development and decision-making. It should invest in regional infrastructure and economic development initiatives to reduce disparities and promote growth. And it should encourage open and inclusive dialogue between different regions and groups to build trust and promote unity. So in conclusion, this study suggests that geopolitical autonomy could be a viable solution for addressing regional disparities and promoting development in Nigeria. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that presentation, Chiemeka. So, the absence of the chair, Azan Ayoni Logun and Emmanuel Akov and Chibuzo Nwagu. So we are going to move on to the question and answer. So we are going to throw it open to the house, questions surrounding the discussion, new light on Nigerian politics. We have questions for Speaker 1, David Ako, or Speaker 2, Chiemeka. Please kindly, or you have suggestions, or you have input, addition, subtraction, we will really appreciate that. So, okay, let's. All right, thank you. Can you come closer? Thank you. Thank you. All right. So just
the first speaker. And I want to say I'm also interested in the work. But in the part of the representing, I understand that trying to suspend so much from the private theoretical framework. I want to ask in form of a question. Is there any other approach that you use to gather your information, or it was being leveraged basically on a theoretical or private conceptual framework? Thank you.
Where?
Sorry, let me introduce myself.
Oh, thank you.
Dr. Bonari speaking from University of Medical Science. My area of specialization is economic history and medical humanities.
Yes, I'll be taking all the questions at once.
Let's take it at once, please. Okay.
Thank you to both presenters. I mean, I want to say just a few things about David first. David and I were talking a while ago, and he didn't share with us who he is actually. I can just do that. This was David's first time, participating in a conference of this kind, and doing this kind of presentation. So this morning, he expressed to me that it was a bit nervous. And I told him, oh yeah, it's okay. We all get. And I also panicked, because again, to have to be David just completed his, first degree. Right. So you can understand it. So he's just going on to, he's just applied for a master's program. So, when we were Facebook friends, we didn't know each other. And then he told me he has his paper. Would you care to think about sharing it at the conference? And I suggested the LSC to him, and he took the challenge. And that was how I ended up that field. So I am quite impressed with what you put together and how you deliver it. So I have one question for you, and I will have one for Chebeka as well. My question to you, David, is, and this question is further encouraged by what the Color Evangelist. Oh, by the way, Ademola Adesola is my name. I teach African and Black diaspora literatures as well as children of warfare at the Montreal University in Canada. So the question you asked, was what actually encouraged you to want to say. I think this was supposed to be literary analysis because the primary text actually gas giants and then trial by jury. So we got a lot of for the absence of the better theoretical opinion, what they're doing, as opposed to some kind of strong attention to the analysis of the text. So I am presuming that the fight is analysis, because from what you presented, what I took away last was a situation in which life, especially in the Nigerian context, is imitating acts. Show it as what you do. I mean, those traits were doing a couple of years ago. And even now, you now have manifestations of what is repeated.
What he's saying that I understand is, I think it's better for you to be kind of comparison when you are actually to read, that actually do that from a kind of historical perspective. So you can just try and narrow it and bring it down to contemporary law. So to say.
That's not my take, actually. My point is, the good thing of this study, the way to do this kind of work is to ground it in analyzing the text.
Yes.
So we can then do a comparative analysis. But it's the text that is, nucleus of focus. And that's more because what you did a lot here, is just going out there and then, giving us all kinds of things that attention to the text is limited. Right, that's the primary focus. So focus more on the text in this case and analyze the sense in which the text speaks, or the two texts speak to these realities that you're talking about. And finally, there also has to be a central argument. When I look at your title, what is it now?
Technology, which is pretty.
Yeah. So, yeah, when a political analysis of political and religious basis, I think maybe they cut off slightly showing that's what I say, right? So, what we want to analyze in these two texts are the manifestations, the sense in which we can portray religious and political deceptions. That's what we want to do. So it will be good to frame an argument around it, and then the analysis can proceed to show, how that argument plays out. So that's the solution that I. For Chiamaka,
I'm not giving the second.
Yes.
so for Chiamaka, my question to you, thank you for the presentation. My question to you is, what is it about France that Nigeria can learn from as a way of managing its own affairs in terms of what you are talking about, one Nigeria? Because contrary to your claim that France is less complex than Nigeria, I do think that that's not it. Because France itself is burdened by its inability to manage its Black citizens, Black citizens of that country. So that if one is looking, for example, of a model of how to manage disparate entities within a geographical location, I would not look up to France as that model. So, but I'd like to hear if you can speak more to what is it about France per se that Nigeria can learn from, given that France itself has not been capable of being comfortable with its French, with its Black component in this case. So that's the question I asked.
Yes.
If we can change, I don't know, maybe we shall allow them to answer question. So Chiamaka, can you answer respond to both?
Okay. Thank you for listening and paying attention and also asking the question. If you can remember.
Please,
Hello?
in 2 minutes. I said please in 2 minutes.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Chiamaka, I said you can respond to the question in 2 minutes, please.
Oh, okay. I said that if you recollect, I was given the example, or I was talking based on how France had been from the origin. I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about how they managed their territories, their tribes, their regions, the diversity, how they managed them ab initio. And I said they were different entities, different tribes that made into one. So I was using it as a model because of how it had been before, not now.
Yeah, that's the question. So what can we learn from even that, before that you are emphasizing? What was it about France prior to now in terms of managing a diverse population and entities that Nigeria can learn from? Because the notion is that if we want one Nigeria, which I don't think we even need, to be, that's a different conversation. Because when they talk about one Nigeria, they're talking about the society of the subservient, talking of a society that is just, saying yes to everything. The one Nigerian thing is not, I don't want to go there, but I guess I am trying to understand, because I really want to understand what this paper is trying to do with the perspective it wants us to draw from France as a way of managing our own diverse population. So that's the thing that you can discount, even if it is for now you're talking about. Even in that past where you're talking about, what was it that France did differently that we can learn from? Because I have a different understanding of even that history that you're talking about.
Okay, what I'm trying to say in earnest is that managing the diversity is supposed to be a reality, but in Nigeria's case, it's not so. So if Nigeria cannot manage it like that, they can now go into decentralization, and then maybe when the regions are on their own, like when they have the autonomy, different regions are on their own, and they have maybe a central government that they report to. That, I mean, they can now manage effectively. That's what I mean.
All right, thank you for that response. So let's move on to David Akon.
Sorry, I don't know if I'm interested in the work and the part.
Okay, sorry, please, can you respond to
Okay, so
then
that.
afterwards? All right. Then afterwards, you're going to say in there.
So,
All right, David. Over to you.
Yeah, for the paper itself, I need more analysis of the text. But based on, I was hoping that we would relate more with happenings around. That was like this, right? Starting from the students' religion and political sector to the general political. That's why I'm being mentioned well. But in the paper itself, I was able to, because yeah, I still have something. I was able to bring out, like I said, Nigeria is failed performance politics. Because that exactly, man, and started giving the little analysis on. So, because the paper itself, as you know, why I focused on the text. That's the beginning of what is that different? Yeah, good work.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Effectively, sorry, you may have special question.
No, it's
Okay, all right. So over to you, sir.
yes, maybe well done. Thank God for that information provided by him. And that shows us that the best we can do is to make work better and be able to get some things to grab from this whole position. Now, are you in history or what
Yeah.
share that like now? The beauty of a conference like this is that you meet people from different positions. I have back into science. That was one of those things that's very attention. So it's part of saying new lights on Nigerian politics. Just the politics of it. So now, getting into your work, irrespective of the methodological approach that's you might adopt, one thing is happening, and that is a structured pattern, both in the work and in the presentations. So that for me, coming from social sciences, I wouldn't have any problem listening to the document while I'm not saying full components. Just with your 12, 10 minutes presentation, I can follow through and comprehend everything that is about it. So the best way is that there's need for you to properly structure so that we don't, we're at this point before, we're at level 3, and we're going back to 1 again, go back to 5, and then that movement was quite constant, which for me wouldn't have necessary. Just structure it out based on whatever method that you have adopted. And then the other thing is again that when I looked into your talk, I think there's still something missing. There's nothing new in research. And one thing that can distinguish the research from, let's say, the media reports is about how systemic information are being passed. And that is to say that looking at your topic, one thing is critical, which I didn't really feel it coming out, and that is to be able to establish the place of political and religious seats. Apart from those examples, there's a way you can actually structure those examples to fit in, reflecting on the theories and the method and whatever it is that you build, using those examples to strengthen, your arguments of political and religious as the endpoint of your research. I don't know if you get it. So, and to do that, you must be able to, even first thing first, is to break down what you look at as the endpoint of what can be termed as political or religious seats, which could be, so many things. I tried reflecting on some, and while you were presenting, I was trying to note down some things. Let's say, for instance, we're able to look at things like manipulation of belief or ideology as an endpoint of political or religious seats. And you have the examples, but you were unable to properly situate it within theoretical framework, because it is not to you as the researcher to just come and tell us that the pastor made a prediction that PS is going to win, and that because PS did not win, that is automatically a deceit. It could be that we've seen examples in the Bible. God says this, and at the end of the day, it doesn't happen again. Are you going to say that was deceit? So it's now left for you as the researcher, with the strength of your theory, your theoretical framework, to be able to walk around that argument as an example of a quote in the form of manipulation of faith and ideology. And then once we have that, then we can, together as researchers, come to that endpoint to say, truly looking at these examples, building on these theories, these issues can be referred to as political and religious. So it's basically a structure it will build on resident council and then share. For Chiamaka, the first thing, I don't know if she's still there.
Chiamaka, are you there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So the first thing, even from your topic, the first thing I asked was that why France? Acception, talking about, let me see the topic once again. Saying, okay, we are evaluating one Nigeria. Perspectives from France. And my question is, why France? I'm not saying you cannot use France, but it is important that in your work, you should be able to establish why the choice of France. Why are we not looking at the perspective of Russia, China, and so many other countries? Let's even put, let's say, the UK aside, being a former colonial master. So now France, that really we wouldn't say we have something as strong as what we had with Britain there. Why the choice of France? So that, and it's left for you to put up the justification of why you have chosen France, the perception of France in determining our journey towards one Nigeria. And then in the course of your presentation, you made mention of maybe carrying out a survey, administering questionnaire, and all of that. And then my question, and then you came up with some results, say 80% of these believe that integration is this and all of that. And then my question is that I know because of time, we are not able to discuss the methodological approach, the sample or whatever, how you came about the selection. But the question is that what is the assurance of the intellectual capacity of the respondents that you selected to be in a position of authority to suggest roadmap for one Nigeria and your integration effort? So I want you to look at those things. And then finally, just for the purpose of presentation, is that it will have been lovely if you had had a slide. And the essence of slide is not for flamboyance, it's also for inclusiveness. Inclusiveness, for instance, if somebody with hearing impairment had attended your panel, how do you expect the person to have benefited from the conversation we had? without with the slide alone, such a person can still follow through and still have a sense of what you're trying to talk about. So for the purpose of next time, do everything possible to have a slide for inclusiveness so that everyone can benefit irrespective of impairment.
Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Let me congratulate the presenter because what caught my attention was the mention of politics. This is supposed to be the where to have my session, but of course the time wasn't this time, it's supposed to be later. So, and it caught my attention as a result of the fact that I'm working on something and it has to do with politics. Even when the real subject is not political or politics per se. So, based on that, I had to find time to listen to him. But from what I've heard, I understand that this is probably the first presentation that he's making, probably, and that will make me not want to talk so much on the presentation as say, or the nitty-gritty of it, or to applaud him for the confidence, the courage to come to this kind of space, and let me also appreciate you for encouraging me to come over. Having said that, there are certain things that you mentioned that is giving concern. Whether it is politics, whether it is religious, or it is social, one-on-one. Everything boils down on performance. But the way you are making it look, it's like it is religious or religion that is sure performance. Whether in Nigeria or in the what's called advanced plan, it is still performance. The difference is that the players, they are the ones who make the difference. In advanced country, there's deceit. In a developing country, they are deceit. But of course, some are more prominent than the other. So I want to guide against that so that you don't make it look like it is particular to a particular place or Nigeria as you have. Then the issue of your theoretical framework and politics, there are so many indigenous writers, scholars who have worked on politics and theories and concepts that I feel that you can take advantage of. And if you are a Yoruba person, of course, there are Yoruba writers or Igbo writers that you can take advantage of. Then you cited their theories, their African concepts that can be adopted, that I feel is related to what you are doing. A good example is the Yoruba saying, I don't know if you are Yoruba. Okay, if you are, Yoruba used to say, so, and that is what you are telling us. The summary of what you are telling us is that people are so gullible in the name of religion, in the name of politics, in the name of social media. Because if you look at it, you tend to look at Euro worship when it comes to religion. You are forgetting that those who are fans of musicians, let us take for instance, Whiskey enter this space. I may not be one of such persons, but those who are Whiskey faithful, we idolize the same seat that a reverend father will sit on. Even in touching him, we have had in the time of Michael Jackson, people almost fainting by the touch of Michael Jackson. So the same thing applies. So it is not just limited to that. And they are able to do that because why? They are faithful. and they have their leader, and whatever their leader says, they believe. You know, and belief is not a fact. And belief is about faith. You just, you know, and because you are key your faith to it, most time come to pass. So I will want you to look at issues from there. Another one, you can have for the correctional, and I'm definitely using that. That's and I've used it. That's the reason I'm saying. The one for affected affair was believed was by Professor Dewaji. Is one of the scholars that people are going to discuss on this. So he was the one who used it at a seminar and came to present to us. So I don't want you to look at it and see I'm not giving it, though it is a little value about the course. You give the credit to somebody who has brought it into scholarship and is changing it to a theory or a concept. You can call it a conceptual framework for God. And then there is this one. I just thought of it. You like to say, come. Yeah, no, okay, if I see a head, if I entity. So, in a way, because I'm definitely going to use this for my presentation, because you know I said that my work, the title of my work is Ozioleke, ceramic fabric politicization. Ozioma is a professor of ceramic and artistry. Is a renowned Nigerian ceramist and practitioner. And the trajectory of his works have moved from pots making to installation art. And in recent time, he has given them names or titles that have to do with the 2023 pre and post democracy. You have titles like Babaliga and Amon for party routine. Yeah, I'm just giving you. Yeah, yes, sir. So what I'm trying to bring out of that is that you can key into Yoruba idioms to help. And finally, let me say that this work needs help. And I believe you have somebody who is here for you already. So he knows where the work needs some hands. So just synergize with it. And I believe that it will come out. Thank you.
Okay, so
Yes, I'm looking at something. Sorry, let me just say, because I have to
in 1 minute, in 1 minute.
I'm suggesting that the work can be political and religious dramatology. I'm just suggesting the Nigerian experience. I feel with a large extent, I feel so. So it's just that's what I haven't looked at it.
So again, yeah, thank you for the last point you made, because that's actually what I was saying the other time.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Let me that is not even problem as
Yeah.
but this is literally an analysis. It's not anything to do with teamwork, you know, it's not a programming, you know, this is it's dealing with two planes.
Okay.
Absolutely. So that's missing.
Okay.
That's
So,
what it's about.
so the trust of the work is on those two works.
So just like sorry, yeah. Just as he said, the movement should be from trying to establish the overarching focus of the work, including your framework and then connect that to the final text.
Yes.
So that can't just have a look. Your inroad to the primary text is your theoretical clarification. And I like the point you made about concepts. And this is the suggestion I have for both presenters. Clarification of concepts is very, very important in any work. Whether we will agree with your conclusions or we will disagree, it's a function of the degree to which we are clear about the concept you are deploying. So, for example, the concept, as you were trying to say, political this, we might have a different understanding of it. You know, you might be looking at something outside. For us to exist on the same ground, we need to know the sense from which you are deploying, that concept. It's the same thing with Chemika. One Nigeria that we talked about, what understanding of that are you centering in your work? So that's something that you can't, a presentation without clarity with regard to concepts that define it, it's not helpful. So we need to add clarification as we, be able to follow with it. The second point I want to make here today has to do with, are you aware that two plays that we are focusing on, they are satirical plays. And satire has a function. And so if this section is not in your work, there might be something to think about. Because different writers capture different phenomena, different methods. For Shoikai goes to play as himself, an active member of the society, having studied and paid attention to the barbarity and the ludicrous and all those things, he felt the best way to capture this reality is to laugh at it. And the play of giant, there are about 5 dictators from different countries on the continent. So that is what is happening there. And I could make this point about the use of satire, especially with relation to Shenka's book. Do not forget that he himself has been over the receiving end of dictators, brutality, and whatnot. And while that was the case, the people who are having the fun, are the perpetrators. But then with a work like this, wherein he now subject in the creative sense, this personality, present them in laughable way. It's at their expense that we are laughing. Okay? It's at their expense. So that you find out that satire helps to unveil the rotten underbelly and individual groups of society. That's what is happening in that play, to show how, unreasonable the actions of the personages are. And all of the social significance for that is also that people know that there are consequences, for certain behavior. So it will be something you want to capture, a gesture to the awareness that these are plays designed to do certain things. Hence, the choice of satire. And again, wherever you see there is a satirical work, irony and what is called it will be ironic, it will be, I'm looking for the word, but the one I have is funny. So, but it's not funny that I'm looking for actually. Humor. It's satirical work combined the element of irony and humor. Isn't it ironic that a priest is supposed to be ethical and consciously thinks? It's the one who is engaged in deception. That's the irony. And all of the things that Ronaldinho does, that he fight dictators in that play of giant, we find out they are laughing. And the final analysis, contrary to the title of the play of giant, the folks were not guys at all. So that's the thing. That's we need to recognize that. And finally, to come back to most of the experiences you saw, it's a different thing that I have with what you're sharing. It's not so much that the pastor goes to the group of people and say, this will happen, or that this person said it. No, the pastor is not a problem. The problem is the deficit in a strong functional education. Because we do education makes it easy for people to be, led, but difficult to control them. I mean, an educated mind is not somebody that swallows every kind of thing that's thrown at them. The problem we are having here is that the criticality, that's the critical consciousness that sound education is supposed to facilitate. We don't have it. It's depreciated time and place. That's why most folks that we had are just satisfied with certification. They're not kind of situation. The priest can tell anybody anything. And without some question of opinion, we will do exactly what the wanted. So it's not so much on the priest. The priest sees a lacuna, that they exploit afterwards. This is find out the next time they talk them back and use the priest. We will see that the priest will meet and they always have the reservoir of presence. Say, you should be able to. If you know what you ask, you know that it's you we are listening to. So the man myself can approach God, without you. So that's good. But thank you to both of you actually.
Thank you so much, sir. So I also have contribution and suggestions to add to it. And I think Chimeka, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know. I want to ask, is this your first time presenting in this conference or in a conference?
Yeah, my first time presenting in this conference.
All right. So I think I have some suggestions to make. And I think what everyone here has just been talking about regarding your topic, we're evaluating one Nigerian perspectives from France. So just like Prof was saying earlier, you need to also have clarity of the topic and looking at the panel, the discussion, new lights on Nigerian politics. You're looking at the implication of this topic in this discourse. So I feel you can take the suggestions they made, about the France. I don't think it's something you should explore, because if you look at France as a whole, maybe you're looking at the perspective of, okay, probably during the days of nationalism, days of Napoleon Bonaparte, or something like that. But in this context, I think you need to review it. It's a work in progress, right? You can still you can still retain what you have in mind, but the ability for you to share it to others to understand you is very important, because it seems like we didn't really understand your arguments in this in your topic. What are you trying to prove? Clarity, what is the conclusion? Or that, I think from my own perspective, you should look at that. Then David Apple. So everybody has actually said the basis like a lot, and I'm still going to also talk about this one too. In this panel, we're looking at new lights on Nigerian politics. You looked at, you're coming from I'm an historian, so I don't really know much about theater arts, but you're coming from that perspective, merging it into political and religious deceit, and looking at some of the new light in Nigerian politics. Fine, you had some illustration which was beautiful, which when you're presenting having that pictorial representation of, like, the pictures you shared is also like, it's a very good one, honestly. Like, I would say your presentation is very, very good. So, trying to balance it, what's the argument? What are you trying to say at the end of the day? After bringing in different perspectives, okay, from this place, like for instance, Paul was talking about Wole Soyinka's argument. What if Wole Soyinka say in this particular dance, Trials of Jericho, and merging it into your discussion, I think is also very important. So, but in all, you both did well, and there is room for improvement, which is the essence of this conference and this panel. So, thank you. I think that, I don't know if Prof, anyone wants to run it off, then call it a day. Thank you.
So maybe the presenters.
Okay, the presenters, do you have anything to say? Chemika, David. Thank you. Oh, okay.
On as far as I can see, the big investment, as far as Nigeria is concerned, foreign is very one. Order.
Any last, not last one, any final thoughts?
Chemika, sorry, can you tell us about your background? Are you a doctoral student? Are you a professor? Just let's know you a little bit.
Yes. Chemika, can you hear us?
Okay, are you talking to me?
Yeah, just give us a bit of your bio. What are you doing? A doctoral student, a professor, which institution, and all that?
I'm with Madonna University, Nigeria. I'm a lecturer there, and I have my PhD in culture and civilization, European studies, major in French.
Okay. Oh. You see why that question is important?
French, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, I think it's important for people to, because this program will not tell us.
Yeah.
Especially your teaching and research interests, so we can understand.
Yeah,
this is not something from life.
Yes. Yes. Because from a political perspective, one doing France, one Nigeria.
Thank you very much. That's quite helpful, Chemika.
All right. So I think we've come to the end of the panel, and we have one attendee here, Chibuzo, who actually came rather late because we come to the end of the panel. But you can just do a brief introduction of yourself before we call it a day. So Chibuzo. Chibuzo, can you unmute yourself?
Hello.
Yes. Good morning. So we've
Good morning.
Yes. Sorry, we've come to the end of the panel, and like we came rather late, and but I don't know. We have just 2 minutes to go. So if you can do something, like say something within 2 minutes, we'll appreciate that. So.
All right. I've been trying to join since I had difficulties joining with the Zoom network. I even sent an email to that regard to the organizing committee, but I don't know whether they've seen it. I'm Chibuzo. I'm a doctorate degree student, a PhD student with Lagos State University. And my abstract paper actually is on the political dynamics. Maybe let me I don't know how many minutes I have to talk about it.
So you're not presenting, we have just do like a brief, discuss on what your topic is about, just in 2 minutes. So because we have this luxury of time, just want to give it that opportunity. That's just it.
Oh, thank you much. Let me quit.
All right, that's fine. Oh, it's up.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, the network is clear. All right, thank you so much, and do enjoy the rest of the day.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Chemika. Have a great day again.
Thank you. I still
He also finished from waiting.
Wow. How are you doing? Damascus.
No, I don't try very something. What are the things
Education. Wow.
I am so glad you finished. I would have loved to